Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
And there he is, Judd Zulgad in the old 1500 ESPN radio studio today.
For duty.
Look at you, got is it a Minnesota United custom Zulgad jersey?
25.
That's new. That's for this year.
That's for this year. I get them every year.
Scarves up. Let's go.
The only problem is they send me, God bless them, extra large, but they're extra large in soccer size, which means like for me they're a small.
Can you put that on for us so we can see?
I can't because I've got a lot on right now. It would take too long. Declan would become annoyed. But and I've got the Mackie Fathead too, you guys.
That's right. Look at that. What's that even from?
They did our heads.
Why
on
did we
a
make fatheads for all of us? I don't remember that either. Boy.
I think Ross did that. Ross just made fatheads for everyone for whatever reason.
Okay.
Just because.
Ross had some spare time on a Tuesday.
What was the budget like? What was the budget? We're like, you know what, Al? We got some extra. Let's do fatheads.
If you are watching on YouTube, you definitely see Judd in the old AM radio studios, and you see our guy. It's not Thursday. It's Thursday on a Monday because Thor is heading to the NFL Combine this week in Indianapolis, and so we're going to dive into some Thor things here. Fresh off Thor and John Randall putting on a show for the audience at the Minnesota Golf Show. By the way, we did post the audio only John Randall interview, 45 minutes. He was incredible, and you guys got to rekindle your relationship from John Randall's football camp back in the day. But you can find that if you missed it anywhere you get Purple Daily. It's audio only, but yeah, welcome in, Thor.
Thank you. Yeah, I would highly suggest to folks seeking that out. That was a wildly fun conversation with John Randall.
Yeah, dude, that guy can tell a story. That guy can spin a yarn. Joe, why don't you tell us a story about Quick Trip before we dive into, is this a hot take?
Absolutely. Well, because guess what, folks? A Quick Trip is your one-stop shopping. In fact, you know what? It's Monday, and so you're saying to yourself, oh, man, I forgot to get, let's say, lunch or a snack or the gas tank. It is near E. How can I solve those dilemmas? And I'm going to tell you right now, you only have to stop a Quick Trip to solve them all. You're checking out the new B-roll here. If you're watching this and you are seeing all the plethora of options that Quick Trip has, yes, folks, you're not looking at a grocery store. It just looks like it. It's a convenience store that makes your life as easy as possible. And let's say you say, Sports Dad, I'm in a hurry. I can't go inside. That's absolutely fine. Put the Quick Trip app on your phone and you can pick stuff up. In fact, you could be pumping gas and they'll bring it out to you. What more could you want? It's why I'm representing today with the hoodie. Quick Trip.
Amen. All right. Is this a hot take, which is presented by Standard Heating and Air, Dex? So why don't you shout out our friends and then give us your take here? Let's do it.
Absolutely. Very excited to provide you guys with this hot take here in just a sec. But Standard Heating, go to standardheating.com where right now, this is the time to score big on home comfort. So you can save up to $7,500 on a mini split ductless system or on a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air, and they'll install this stuff for you. So I might be throwing some big words at you, but Standard Heating knows what they're doing, okay? So don't wait. These savings won't stick around forever. Visit standardheating.com before the clock runs out. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Big words like duct and
DUCT.
What was the other one? High efficiency. High efficiency. I don't know. A lot of big stuff there.
Big words like efficiency. High efficiency would be likely hyphenated. Yeah. Yep. So, okay. Every week in the offseason, we present a take, and then we have to decide, is this a hot take? So what do you got here, Dex?
All right. So I had a vent line on Sunday with a couple Vikings fans, and this idea kind of came to me asking them about the draft plans for 2025. And this hit me like a lightning bulb, so I'm going to throw this out here. Is this a hot take, Thor? And Thor's our draft guy here, so I'd love to get his opinion on it. The 2026 first-round pick for the Vikings, next year's first-round pick, should be on the table right now for the Vikings. Hear me out. So if the Vikings are going to be a very good team next year, once again, likely picking between the 24th and hopefully 32 spot in the first round of the NFL draft, You don't have a second round pick this year. You don't have a third round pick this year. I don't know if you want to use that to move up. I don't know if you want to use that to get a player that you could get to help build your roster right now, an established player.
Full Rams, perhaps?
Full Rams. Bleep those picks with Les Snead to a degree. I think the 2026 first-round pick, Thor, should be in play right now for the Vikings to help them out in 2025. Is that a hot take?
It is a hot take. Am I supposed to say if I agree with that or not?
Yes, you can savage Declan if you like. You've got free reign to do whatever you need to do here.
Okay, it is a hot take, but I don't agree with it. I would keep the first round pick. I don't think this draft class is good enough in talent to justify that. Like, what kind of a trade would you be looking to do? Ostensibly, it would be something like you'd be getting like a late first, or well, not even that. You'd be getting like an early second. You'd be using it something package, whatever. This draft class here in top end talent is not going to be as good as next year's one. This one, there's better depth, but I think there's different stuff you could do to maneuver around the board. I would like more day 2 picks in this class. That is one thing that I would like, because I think that's where sort of the strength of this class is. But I would not sacrifice the round 1 pick in 2026 to do that.
I think if you were gonna do it, it would be sort of a full Rams thing. And I'd love to see a list. I mean, obviously, like Myles Garrett is available, but you've got 3 edge rushers right now that you really like. So it's hard to sit here and say, yeah, I'm going to pass on Myles Garrett. The Vikings don't need – I mean, any team could find use for a future Hall of Fame pass rusher, but he's not like – it's not a position of need for the Vikings. Matthew Stafford, you maybe would have to give up that pick, I guess, if you were to trade for him. But you've got J.J. McCarthy in the wings.
What's the trade is my question. Like spell out the trade, and then because for Stafford, that's a hard no.
Okay, Dexter Lawrence. Let's say the Giants.
That's a better. I mean, you're
instead of moving into Matthew Stafford world, like if they were to go get Matthew Stafford, and that's a heavy rumor across the NFL right now, they would likely keep Dexter Lawrence. They'd want to be building something for the next 2 years where they could make a run. Mm-hmm. But let's say they don't get Matthew Stafford, and they're going to go in. They're going to draft a quarterback. Now it's also a bad example because you have a hot seat front office and a hot seat coach that isn't going to look to trade one of the best defensive players in the league. But if there was a player like Dexter Lawrence available, would you trade a first round pick or to make a 14-win team more solidified?
No.
Or I don't like the timing here. So like if this was the trade deadline, right? And you are overachieving and you need, and in fact, the Vikings did, a defensive tackle at the deadline, I might say, you know what? Okay, I think that we can win a Super Bowl if we add Dexter Lawrence from the Giants at that point. But the reality is you've got like the world's your oyster right now. You've got cap space to make moves. You've got a lot of flexibility here. So this would not be a situation where I would put the 2026 first on the table, because I don't think the timing is right. Now, again, if we get to the deadline next season and it's like, okay, you're just missing this one thing and there is a player that can solve your problems, I might consider it. But I just don't like this as far as, I guess my question is, why would you do it right now when free agency is in front of you and you have a lot of opportunities to improve your team without trading that first round pick?
Yeah, I agree with that. I just don't see a scenario where it would be helpful to you. I think the Vikings got to get away from stealing from the future for the present. You know, that's why they don't have any day 2 picks this year. The Dallas Turner situation came up, and look, in advance of that, you know, part of the trading from the future picks was to acquire the second first round pick, potentially to trade up for the quarterback. Didn't end up needing to do that, but yeah, we got to get away from that and start playing the comp pick game.
Dex, would you like to stand up and defend your hot take, or are you just gonna lay down here?
No, I look at what they're.
I'll just give a chance to defend his hot take.
On a Monday.
No, everyone had their chance to speak. It's I was the one who threw out the landmine and walked away. So I just look at the Vikings are going to be really good next year, likely, and I know we shouldn't assume that, but that's where they're tracking to be. And I just don't know that a pick between 24 and 32 is going to move the needle that much more forward for 26 or 27 if you could use that asset now to make you better in 2025. Totally get what Thor's talking about, that they've kind of made a lot of these picks to rob the future to make you better in the present, from TJ Hawkinson trade to Dallas Turner, etc. But if you have a chance to use that pick to go get a Dexter Lawrence, or I don't think Myles Garrett's on the table for them, but if you could use that pick to make yourself better in 2025, I'm all for it. And also, like, is there a scenario where they use it to significantly go up the board to get something that they really want in this year's draft?
Well, so that's an angle that is universally just not being talked about or dismissed because they only have 4 draft picks. And we've spent most of our time talking about trading back from 24 to pick up 2 or 3 extra picks and just stockpiling. But, I mean, that's where I'll throw it back to Thor. What are the scenarios where you would move up the board from 24, give up draft capital rather than moving back to stockpile draft capital?
Very, very limited situations with that. If there was a guy that I felt was a quasi top 10 pick who dropped down to 20 at a big position of need, that's where I would consider, because then you have to trade a day 2 pick next year to swap that pick. But I'm not trading more than that. So like if at 20, for instance, Ashton Genty falls to 20 and Denver was open to trading, that would be one possibility. Depending on the way the interior defensive line class looks, it's so stacked. I don't think you'll have to do that. If there was a crazy unexpected run on guys and there was just one of them in your bucket left, then you might have to consider that. But like I said, very, very limited type situations where I would do that. I'll repeat it. The Vikings need to get away from stealing from the future to pay for the present. And with Kwesi looking at you, got to stop doing that with your draft picks. Need to start playing the comp game. Need to stop trading your future picks. Wouldn't be in this situation if they hadn't done that last year. I realize that led to Dallas Turner. So, I mean, I'm, okay, but we got to stop doing that.
Well, and I think from the big picture takeaway of this entire conversation, as well as, and it didn't get talked about a ton, it was brought up, but I think the most important thing is, as successful as the 2024 Vikings were, you guys, they were an old team, and they're an old team for a reason. Like, at some point in time, you do need to replenish more so. And to go back to it, unfortunately, the 2022 draft sort of robbed you of what should have been the replenishment. So there is a fine line to walk here, because they're good. They should have, hopefully, knock on wood, a good young quarterback for quite some time here. But the reality is, if you look at the entire roster, it's not young. And so, like, I'm all for trying to win. And again, at the deadline next season, if they are in it and there's some compelling case to make a trade, I would certainly listen to that. But I also think that we all need to be aware that the 2024 Vikings were probably, in a perfect world, far older of roster than would be ideal.
Can I propose a potential hot take here? Can I take us down a different avenue for a second?
Absolutely not. No way.
Okay. I'm going to give myself some cover here too, because it is.
Wow.
It's like a speculative umbrella that we're under here, but I keep hearing, the reports that come out that either the Vikings are they're interested in finding a way to keep Darnold, and it's all part of the game. But the second part of that is, if you deduce that they aren't going to keep Darnold, that they're going to let him walk and hit free agency. That's kind of the vibe. And I'm looking around at the supply and demand right now, quarterbacks in the NFL, and there are a large handful of teams, at least 6, maybe 7 teams that really need a quarterback upgrade right now. And a couple of them, by the way, that have playoff aspirations. Like if you're the Steelers, for instance, playoff aspirations, they need someone that can sit in there and throw 30 touchdown passes and be a professional. So here's my potential hot take. It would actually be, especially now that Stafford might be on the outs in Los Angeles, his agent has been given permission, according to Tom Pelissero, to explore his value with other teams. So if the Rams are an option, if the Raiders are an option with a ton of cap space, There's a lot of talk that the Titans aren't drafting a quarterback with the number 1 pick, that they might draft edge rusher from Penn State, thus leaving them open for a quarterback here in the next few weeks. The Steelers, like I just mentioned. There's at least 4, and I could name the Giants in terms of Sam Darnold suitors, that with that many teams needing a high-end quarterback, and you have a former top 5 overall pick that threw 35 touchdown passes last year, and for a while was getting some MVP sniffs in like November, early December, it would be front office malpractice to not turn Sam Darnold into 2025 draft compensation, a franchise tag and trade. Is that a hot take, Thor?
Well, we don't know what's available and out there and what he's being offered. Now, if there was multiple teams offering the $40+ million AAV long-term contract, that's what it takes. And then the Vikings had the opportunity to tag and trade him, and they didn't because they wanted to be good guys or whatever. Yeah, that would be malpractice. But we don't know that there is multiple of those offers out there, right? Like that is a huge contract. I absolutely think the Stafford news coming out when it did is telegraphing to everyone out there. Let me back up. People are talking about the wrong thing with that story coming out. We started talking about this on the Saturday show that we did at the golf show. The story here should actually be what are the Rams' intentions there? They have clearly identified a plan. If you were going to put Stafford out on the block, what is that plan? Would make a lot of sense if it is Sam Darnold, who was coached last year by Sean McVay's best friend. Why else are you trying to shove Stafford out the door right now? So yeah, you have a very serious suitor there, and yeah, you could you could play the tough guy with both McVay and with Sam, and be like, the only way you're going to an NFC competitor there is if we get draft pick compensation back, and then
because the Raiders are a safer spot for us to not have if he's awesome, send him to if you're the Vikings, right? You could play these teams off each other. You would think.
That is where your leverage is. That is why you need 2 teams offering the 40+ AAV over the multiple years. Because then, again, you have to play tough guy now when you have depicted yourself publicly as the nice guys and the organization that does it the right way. This would be kind of savage, but that's how you do it, right? Like if Sam's like, I'm going to sign with the Rams, but the Raiders badly want him, you would threaten the tag and trade, and then Rams, you got to give us a pick.
Yeah, 2 problems here. One is you can do that, but the thing is, if Sam's like, I'm not going there, the Raiders are going to pull out because if Sam says I won't sign there, they're not going to take a 1-year franchise tag hit. They would make the trade in order to sign Sam to, let's just hypothesize, a 3-year contract. So he would be willing. He would actually have to play along with your game, which, by the way, would be absolutely fine. The Stafford thing, though, is a little bit more intricate. I don't think the Rams want to walk away from Stafford. They want him. In fact, the report came out this morning from Peter Schrager that he is seeking like a $50 million contract. The Rams' intention is to say, okay, that's great, man. You go find that contract. The intention of the Rams is then for him to come crawling back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. They're not going to. No one's going to give me at my age $50 million. So this is all a very, very intricate web that's being weaved by several different participants. But yes, if you could get Darnold to play along, like if Darnold said, you know what, the Raiders or Pittsburgh would be great. I don't care. And then they franchise him, and wherever they trade him to, he agrees to a multi-year contract going into the trade. That works. But if he balks, you're sort of screwed because no one's going to take him for a year and a franchise tag and then have him walk.
It's been the Steelers. It's been way too quiet on the Steelers front with this, with the connecting of dots. It's like they literally don't have a quarterback on their roster because Justin Fields and Russell Wilson are free agents. If you're Russell Wilson, you'd probably love to go back because you get paid a few $1 million. But if you're the Steelers, you already kind of tried it. Is it going to be better as he gets older? It doesn't feel like that's going to be a fit. Justin Fields, they pulled the plug on after like 4 games. He wasn't terrible, but the Steelers would be, and what's their plan? Like they've gone through the last few years, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, all these random dudes. And this defense is ready to pop. They're winning 10 games, barely able to move the ball past the 50-yard line, and it feels like half their games. And they just need a guy that can sit there, find George Pickens down the field, and hit. I mean, just like the Ben Roethlisberger era, literally let the defense set the tempo. We'll run the ball, and you hit home runs down the field, and we win games. I don't know. Everything's a little too quiet here before the storm for my taste, and I just feel like it would be a big mistake to not cash in and play teams off each other and get something of value for a guy. It's not like a Case Keenum situation where he was not highly touted, not super physically talented. This is a former top 5 pick coming into his own as what everyone expected a half decade ago. Take advantage of it.
I think Stafford's going to go to the Giants, a team that just hired as its quarterback coach his brother-in-law. That's what I think is about to happen. And then I think Sam's going to go to the Rams. So we're not on write that down, but you can write that down.
Write this down.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. And if he, look, as far as the fit potentially goes there, I think it would be good. Like the only thing that the Rams could cite would be, hey, we sort of played against you in that last game and you were terrible. But the reality is the arm, the McVay and KO connection that we've talked about before. So like there are a lot of things. I just think the most important thing to keep in mind is to play two teams off each other. Darnold would have to participate in the game himself. So it really wouldn't be Savage, because if he just says no, then you're sort of compromised.
I think if you presented him and said, hey, we just got done having bourbon at the NFL Combine and large, delicious, spicy shrimp cocktails, and at St. Elmo's, we had some of the most expensive steak you're going to find in the Midwest. And this is all very much on background here, Sam, because we're not supposed to be tampering necessarily. But, you're not really tampering when you're talking about a player that's under your control still. But if you want to go to the Rams, they're interested. But we do need to leverage the Raiders. So will you please play along with us? You're going to get $40+ million a year out of this thing. But we'd love to get some draft capital. Let us help facilitate this. It makes so much sense. And for the Rams, you get 10 years younger, and you don't have to worry about paying $55 million to a guy who, he's had some back problems.
He's not going to get that, right?
That's
Stafford,
a lot. He's
not going to get that at that age from the Giants, right?
Well, the Giants it's interesting because the Giants you literally have an entire front office and coaching staff regime that are desperately trying to keep their jobs. So if you're desperately trying to keep your job, is Cam Ward going to keep it for you? Or are you going to maybe you win 6 games with Shedeur Sanders, then they fire everyone and bring in his dad to coach the team next year? Or would you rather take a one last stand with Matthew Stafford?
9 days, gentlemen. 9 days for the tag to be applied. So this week is crucial.
Speculation.
Thor, would you like to simulate a mock football draft with us? Right.
Yeah,
now?
let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
I want a mock.
So I'll give you guys the parameters here in a moment. First, a shout out to Blackstack Brewing. Unbelievable tap room. By the way, was watching some Love is Blind over the weekend. I think it was it episode 8?
They're in it. Yep.
7 or 8. And there's a big hangout at Blackstack. They kept that under wraps. So Blackstack getting some Netflix love. You can stop in to the now world famous, internationally famous Blackstack Brewing, the second largest tap room in the state of Minnesota. 190-inch big screen TVs, as you saw if you're watching this glorious, trashy reality show. Just an incredible place to bring friends, family, maybe it's a work get-together, whatever it may be. And you can find Blackstack beer all over the state of Minnesota and expanded distribution in Wisconsin, Nebraska, and South Dakota. BlackstackBrewing.com to find out what they're up to this week and next week. Also, Federated Insurance is here protecting businesses since 1904. They are here to help you with safety, risk management, and preventing claims, like a great offensive line for you, the quarterback, so that you can stay focused on putting points on the board, running your business. Federated Insurance offers a customizable lineup of industry-specific coverages and risk management services to help you continue your winning streak as a business owner. So whether you're in the state of Minnesota or in any of the other 49 states, Federated Insurance is here to help you. Federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours.
I want a mock.
Okay. So for parameters, let's generally go with the positions of need as we know them right now. I'm not going to give you like a full free agency recap here, but like interior defensive line, interior offensive line, secondary, you're aging out at cornerback and maybe safety, and then running back. But I'm going to throw an executive twist in here, boys. We're gonna force a trade here to the Los Angeles Rams. Thor went on the record there.
Write this down.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put our money where Thor's mouth is, and we're gonna send Sam Darnold to the Rams in a tag-in trade for.
They don't have a second round pick. They got 2/3
for the 90 and the 100. How's that sound?
Okay. I mean,
Is that
they'll
too
give it
much?
to us, sure.
Is that like realistically? Is that? I think a third round pick would be, if you got a third round pick in this year's draft, I would run to the bank with that.
Yeah.
From the Vikings.
Otherwise, it's going to be at end of the third next year.
So if I swipe the how about if it's the 90 and the 189?
Sure.
That's probably more. That's probably more.
I'll take whatever.
All on.
Yeah.
So we're gonna force this trade. I love how they have a forced trade button here.
They're like, no, we won't do it.
We're gonna send CJ Ham to the Bills for 6 second-round picks. Okay. All right. So we have picked up 2 extra picks in this trade with the Rams. Sam Darnold, a 3-year contract for $128 million or something, whatever. And now the draft has started. And we're on the clock at 24. By the way, Cam Ward, number 1 to the Titans. Abdul Carter, edge rusher to the Browns. Travis Hunter, 3rd to the Giants. Don't know who their quarterback is. Shedeur Sanders to the Jets at 7. Wow.
He's fallen a little bit. He just sort of has been a bunch. Who had him falling really badly? I think it was early last week.
Yeah, he went to the Steelers. It was PFF.
Okay. Yeah,
it was this simulation.
Was it? Okay. Wow.
So, okay, we've got the 24. We're on the clock right now. We have 8 trade offers.
Okay.
Starting with the
Phil,
Eagles at 32.
Give me a quick scroll on the overall, guys, but I need
Sure.
some context before you consider our offers.
There you go.
Okay. You keep going just a little bit more.
Your guy, Omari and Hampton. Top running backs on the board.
What's the Iowa running back?
They must have had a run on interior defensive lineman earlier.
Yeah, so I'll go through on the left. You can see Derek Harmon off the board, Walter Nolan off the board, Kenneth Grant all off the board in the teens.
Yeah, this is
Ashton Ginty off the board.
Not the best scenario. This is the scenario the Vikings wouldn't like. We're definitely trading down here.
So we'll trade back. The offers are from the Eagles at 32, the Giants at 34, the Saints at 40, and then a bunch of teams further back from there. Should we engage the Eagles?
Let's try the Giants.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So they've got, we'd move back to the 34.
Yeah.
We'd move back 10 spots. Let's see what they would give us. The 65? Oh. 63% chance of.
What are the numbers, Phil?
We'd move back 10 spots, and we would get the 65th overall pick from the Giants. So it'd be their early 3rd round pick, right?
Yeah, my trade chart says we're getting 253 points and they're getting 237 on that, 34 and 65.
So what we would need, what's the math there? We would need to ask for more, or we would need
no,
to...
that's a go for me.
Okay, let's offer it and see if they... Oh,
Done.
They accepted it. Let's
Done
go.
and done.
All right.
All right, boys. So now we got, look at us. We're picking up extra picks. We're back on the clock at 34 here. Omari and Hampton is sitting there. Some interior defensive guys. TJ Sanders, Tyleek Williams.
It might be a good time to address that, actually, if you like him, Thor.
Wait, to who?
Tyler Booker.
Interior defensive lineman.
Yeah, with who? I'm sorry, who are you talking about?
Tyleek Williams, TJ Sanders sitting there on the board.
I like Sanders enough. I don't know if there's one guy that I'd pop right here. Honestly, if we can get back like 10 more spots, 8 more spots, that's what I would prefer to do.
Oh, so you'd trade back again here?
I would. Yeah, because Morrison just went, and I would rather I'm going to target Tyler Booker in like 8 picks.
So we could trade back 2 spots, the Jaguars are calling, or the Buccaneers would be 17 spots.
Okay, do the Jaguars. Just see if we can get another late pick there.
Okay.
Maybe.
Look at Thor just working the phones in the war room right now.
Yeah, the fans are going crazy right now. The fans
are not happy. We've punted on the first round. Yeah. So we can ask for our picks back. The 88. Here it is, the 105.
Yeah, sure.
We'll offer that.
Great.
Look at that. So we just picked up another one. We're Rick Spielmaning our way through this draft.
Awesome.
All right, so we are back on the clock with the 36th overall pick.
Okay. This might be Tyler Booker time.
Tyler Booker, the guard from Alabama.
Yeah, they're going to kill us on the grade. We could play the game and keep trading back, but we'll take Tyler Booker. He's immediate starter, was a high school teammate of JJ McCarthy's at IMG. He's the best pure guard in the draft.
Okay, executive decision that we're at first pick in the 3rd round. Trevion Henderson is still on the board.
Yeah, this one's Trevion, because as you guys can see, my boy Caleb Johnson went 2 picks before that. I have Trevion right behind there. I'm gonna have Caleb's my RB2, Trevion's my RB3. Trevion, explosive as all get out, and a great kid. That guy did not get it was straight A's in high school, and then he had a 4.3 GPA. We usually talk about GPS, but GPA at Ohio State, and ludicrously explosive. He was over 22 miles per hour on the GPS. Regularly stacks up the explosive plays. He had basically the play that flipped the game against Texas in the semis, a 75-yard delayed screen right before halftime, kind of a neutralizer there. A good runner outside the tackles, especially because he's so explosive, but also a really good receiver. And I have to follow up on something, because like a month ago, Judd asked me if he was good in pass pro, and I said no, because I hadn't had time to get for the tape yet. So it's just my exposure, right? Like live. Earlier in his career, he struggled a bit with technique and recognizing the danger coming through. I just wrote up Trevion, so I had the occasion to watch all of his pass pro reps the last 2 years. Let me rescind my previous comment. Trevion Henderson is a great pass blocker. He has really worked on that since the beginning of his career, got better and better and better. That's something you notice with him is improved, sort of the deficiencies in his game, working on them. There's a couple he's never going to be able to fix. One of them that hopefully can, this is going to be big for Trevion this coming week here at the Combine, is the durability question. So getting the medicals, what do we learn from that? He had 2 seasons, like right when he was a 5-star recruit, top 25 overall, went to Ohio State and was incredible as a true freshman. Next 2 years were mired with injuries. Now this past season, he played in all 16 games as Ohio State won the national title. So that was awesome to see, but need to dig into those medicals just a little bit. But if we get a thumbs up, or even a 3/4 slot thumbs up, if you're at the beginning of the 3rd here like this, you take him there.
I love it, dude. I'm all in. So we're back on the clock. We have the 90, the 97, the 105, and the 139 coming up here.
Man,
I just selected
some
positions of need here and threw them up on the board. So cornerback, definitely position of need.
Yeah, Thomas is a good prospect. Thomas, on my early cornerback run through, I have him 7th on there. You guys know my feelings on Walker. Around this, I would gamble if it gets into the 3rd round. We're rolling the dice and seeing if we can turn around that technique or get a better plan for him. And then Ratledge as well would be. Oh no, we got Booker. I'm sorry, Ratledge.
Yeah, let's go Deion Walker here.
Deion Walker, come on down.
Because we have, it got the 97 coming up here. All right. Yeah, this is Thor's sort of, I think if you could swap out Ohio State running back for Iowa, we're getting close to Thor's dream scenario here with a bunch of trade backs. All
Someone's going to have to tase me to not take Devin Neal here. But
dude, you've said they should draft 2 running backs.
That is what I believe, yes.
Well, then Jones is probably gone, right? By this point?
Well, in that case, yeah, but just go down a little bit more, Phil. Let's see if there's any other guys at positions in need. That
your guy, RJ Harvey.
There's just so many running backs in this class. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Cornerbacks, guys.
What's
the
that?
cornerbacks, Kobe
The
Bryant.
cornerback room. Yep.
Oh yeah, because we didn't take we didn't yeah. I like Kobe Bryant, little Mamba. Who was the other guys that were higher up there on the corners?
Yeah, he's the highest graded corner. Let me just throw the corners up on the screen.
Okay, yeah, let me
Because
see
we do
those
it. We
real
have the
quick.
97, the 105, so we're kind of in range here.
Noah Williams is kind of interesting because he's coming out of Cal and he's like somewhat of a doppelganger for Cam Bynum. They're very similar in size. They both play corner in college, and they both are gonna. Cam Bynum had the speed questions, and Noah Williams has speed questions. But Noah Williams is a very smart playmaker, just like Bynum. I think he is probably headed to safety at the next level.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant, I like Kobe Bryant, very, very feisty, and he got way better against, for instance, the run this year. He is a little bit on, not a little bit, he's on the smaller side, 5'10", 171. So, I mean, would the Vikings be interested in that? I'm not sure, but he has all the cover skills that you need. And again, he improved at stuff like press off the line, run defense, stuff like that, where his size was limiting him earlier in his career. He saw jumps up in those categories this year. So he would be an interesting name as well. And then you guys know I like the LSU kid as well. Zy Alexander.
Yeah. I think, all right, just for gaming the system here, I think we could probably get one of those two cornerbacks at 105. Is there another player here in the PFF rankings? I mean, Devin Neal would be, so you'd come away with two running backs in the first 3 rounds of a really rich running back draft. You'd have 2 third-round running backs, basically, if we took Devin Neal here.
Let's take Devin Neal.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Great. Let's do it.
Let's take Devin Neal. We have an amazingly sick backfield for years and years and years for peanut salary for the low cost of 2 third-round picks. So we'll do that.
And still on the board here, both Noel Williams and the cornerbacks here, and Kobe Bryant at the 105. So we could go in those directions.
I'm going to audible on you boys, and I would like to take Jared Wilson here, the center from Georgia.
Oh.
We haven't taken him yet. Jared Wilson's the best center in this class if Gray Szabo is not considered a center. He is going to test very, very well athletically. Yes. Jared Wilson, you just look at the metrics on the field. He's near the top. He is the top of this class in PFF grade last year. If you're just looking at the pure centers, was just under 80. Pass protection grade. Garrett Bradbury, you listening to us? 84.9. He doesn't step on the quarterback's feet when Dexter Lawrence puts the defibrillator in his chest either. Yeah, true pass set grade. I love looking at that because it takes out the nonsense of the screens or the RPOs or the play actions. Jared Wilson also leads the class in that, 90.5 amongst the centers. So that is a good player, and he would be pushing Bradbury real quick.
Could be a little surprise training camp cut there, perhaps. So now we have the first pick in the 5th round, the 139. I would say definitely cornerback and interior. Well, we got Deion. We got.
I would say we got interior linebackers.
Yeah, let's
possibly as well.
Let's toss up corner, linebacker.
All right, hold on a second here.
It's going to be tough for me to pass on Jackson Dart. So we do have the back. Oh, there are a couple corners there that I like though. So
okay.
Yeah,
let's throw up a 3rd running back. How ballsy do you guys want to
just have the whole depth chart?
Safety is going to be, at some point with Harrison Smith retiring.
Billy Bowman is an absolute wild man on the field. He's like the hair on fire guy. Well, actually, Flores would probably like him. You're gonna have to teach him all the different position, stuff moving around. But yeah, he flies around, that kid. You guys know that I like Quincy Riley. We have talked about him before on the show. He's a really good cover corner. I went into the reasons last year why his on-field metrics went down, but the previous 2 years was tremendous. So Quincy Riley would be a guy I'd be considering quite heavily here. I trust his history. And then, Huzzy's funny because he wore the exact same number at UNC as Omari and Hampton, and I have no idea why. They were both 28. They were both really good players, and then it's like, 28.
He could play. So he played a bunch of slot in 2023 too, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Huzzy's a solid player. I prefer Riley.
Let's do it.
I'll probably go Riley here. Yeah.
Okay. Little cornerback, and we got 2 picks left. The 160 Dude, Jackson Dart is still on the board. You want to draft a quarterback here, huh?
Yeah, he's going to go.
Let's go.
All right.
He's going to go in the second round, and he might even go in the first. So no. He's
what if he just plays as your boy?
He's going to be mentored by JJ McCarthy, Mr. Jackson Dart.
Wow, we have Jackson Dart, controversial.
I don't know.
Potential future quarterback, the future Brock Purdy.
At 2, Thor. At 2.
Yeah.
And then this is our last pick is the 189 here in the 6th round.
What positions we think we.
So here's the positions we've covered: guard and center. So we're kind of good interior offensive line.
This is a good looking draft so far. I know this is a little unorthodox, but this is a good look in terms of talent. This is good.
Safety so far?
We don't got a safety. So
we don't have a safety. No.
Linebacker, wide receiver.
Love that.
Let me throw those up for you.
Yep.
All right, let's go wide receiver.
Just on the off chance Thursday.
Safety. And then could also draft another quarterback if you want to.
Yeah.
A little crazy. What did we say? Wide receiver, safety, and then linebacker?
Interior linebackers.
Okay. All right, here's the best players.
We got our pick. I want Jay Higgins. Higgins is a stud. Jay Higgins is an absolute stud, and I loved it at the end of the game against Nebraska. Iowa beat Nebraska in their rivalry game, and after the game, the reporters asked him about the Nebraska players not shaking hands with them beforehand. Jay Higgins went in on Matt Rule and said that's not the way that we do it under Kirk Ferentz here. And he had like this 3-minute speech on it, but Jay Higgins is a really, really good linebacker who's going to go above where we just got him.
All right, PFF is grading our draft here.
All right.
We better get an A this time. This is an A draft.
I don't know. They might not love. Yeah, the Tyler Booker was a little bit of a stretch.
According to them.
Tyler
Booker going to go in the first round.
Oh, no.
We just got him at 36. He's going to start for 5 years for peanuts.
They're giving us a B+ for the overall draft.
B pluses.
They don't like your center. Jared Wilson got a C+, Thor.
Dude.
We get the number 1 center in the class at 105, who might start as a rookie. I mean, what do they want from us?
The highest graded pick was Jackson Dart, 5th round, 160 overall.
They made us do it, so
you forced us into drafting JJ McCarthy's replacement.
No, his
he's your linebacker too. Jay Higgins got a C-.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it's just straight disrespect to Jay Higgins. I got Jay Higgins 4th on my linebacker board. 90 PFF grade last year, 92.9 in coverage. The guy tackles sideline to sideline. I mean, what do you want? He doesn't miss tackles. He talks crap to Matt Rule. I don't know what people are looking for.
He's a ball player. He's a ball player. All right, we're gonna send Thor off into the NFL Combine this week here, and you will report back the week following with everything that you absorbed and learned, and we'll have even just a better lay of the land for what the Vikings and everyone else is going to be doing. And just be on the lookout as you're roaming around. You know, if you happen to lean into a conversation at the bar, you hear a couple drunken executives and agents spilling some beans, don't be afraid to send us an anonymous email, our little tip line, Thor.
3 words for you, Thor. Company credit card. This is the most important week for a company card. You got St. Elmo's, you got the Shake Shack, you've got endless bars. Just remember, this is the week that you live like you're rich.
Yeah, it's Matthew Berry. That's Berr. Just throw it on there, and we'll close it out at the end of the week.
Yeah, right. I hope Barry's not watching this right now, because we're gonna make use of it. But yeah, I can't wait, and you boys better expect some texts. I'm definitely gonna get some intel, and we'll keep you apprised.
Let's go. All right, he is Thor Nystrom from Matthew Berry's FantasyLife.com. Again, if you missed the John Randall interview from the golf show this weekend, it was awesome. John is a brilliant storyteller. It's audio only. So if I saw some people in the YouTube comments like, it's frozen. You guys are frozen. No, it's a static image because we had a bare minimum set up there at the golf show. But check it out when you get a chance this week. And Thor, enjoy your trip to Indianapolis. We'll be back with some NFL takes, Purple Daily NFL takes today on the feed. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.